Let the good times roll. We're making king cake. I have tried to make king cake on more than one occasion, and I have yet to make a successful king cake, but today is the day. First step is to scald your milk. That means you heat it up just till there are bubbles around the edges. And to our scalded milk, I'm gonna add in our butter, and then the butter is going to melt and cool the milk down. While that happens, we're going to grow our yeast. So I've got some warm water, and to that I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of sugar. That's gonna feed the yeast, and then it's 2 packets of yeast. Stir that together and let it grow or bloom for about 10 to 15 minutes. He has risen. Now we start mixing the dough. So I'm gonna pour all of this into our mixing bowl, and then I'm gonna add in our cooled milk and butter mixture. Going in with more sugar, whisk that together for a few seconds. And now we're gonna start adding in the flour, 1 cup at a time. Didn't mean to do that. I have screwed up. I was supposed to add the eggs earlier, and the salt and the nutmeg. So in go the eggs, the salt, and the nutmeg. Back to business. Now that it's come together to form a dough, I'm gonna turn it onto a lightly floured surface and continue to knead it until it's really smooth. Earning that king cake. We are there. You always gotta do that. So now I'm gonna place it into a lightly oiled bowl, kind of give it a little swirl around. Then you just wanna cover it up with either like a damp, heavy dishcloth or just some plastic wrap and let it go for about an hour and a half. While our dough rises, I'm gonna make the filling so that when it's all ready, it can come together at the same time. I'm doing a classic traditional king cake, which is just a cinnamon kind of brown sugar filling. This recipe actually calls for nuts and raisins. I do know better. I'm not gonna have y'all yelling at me about putting nuts and raisins in my filling. I'm gonna start by mixing that brown sugar with the flour and cinnamon so that it stays evenly distributed before I add in the melted butter. Yes, that smells so good. That is so satisfying. The dough is ready, and by the way, this is going to make 2 king cakes. So we're going to divide it into 2 pieces and roll each one out into a 10 by 16 rectangle. The filling kind of gets really thick and crumbly, and that's what you want. You want to kind of crumble it over the dough and then kind of like press it in. Okay, and then we roll it up just like you would a cinnamon roll. And you get yourself a parchment lined or greased baking sheet. You just want to be sure that your seam is at the bottom. Okay, now you take some kitchen shears and you're going to cut slits that go about 1/3 of the way down into the cake and about 1 inch apart. It only takes about 20 minutes to bake, and while that happens, I'm gonna make the frosting. We know the colors of Mardi Gras: purple, gold, or yellow in this case, and green. This is just a combination of powdered sugar with a little bit of milk until you get it to your desired consistency, and then a little bit of food coloring. Both cakes out of the oven. While they're still warm, you gotta put the baby Jesus in. Now we ice, and you gotta go in a pattern. The colors, and then coordinating sprinkles. Now listen, I never claimed to be a baker or an artist. But see, that's what's great about king cake, is it doesn't have to be perfect. I think it's cute. I don't care. I can already tell you that's a perfect piece of king cake. She did it, folks. Here's the deal. Unless you live in New Orleans, you're probably not gonna get a delicious, authentic king cake. Use this recipe, make this king cake, you won't regret it. Mardi Gras is coming up. I gotta earn this king cake. I don't know what you call this move though.